shifting gears mentally. Ron Paul has over 245 sponsors. If he gets 290, that is a absolute majority in the House that will pass a bill to audit the private, run-for-profit Federal Reserve that we didn't have until 1913. When Ron Paul and other congressmen are on TV saying audit the Fed or get rid of the Fed, he also has a bill to abolish it, they always say, well, how will we have taxes? How will America operate? How will we have money? How will the country survive? How will we be able to do anything? And Ron Paul's always at the Capitol, and he says, well, the Capitol I'm sitting in was built before we had the Federal Reserve. We didn't have an income tax till 1913 with the Federal Reserve to pay the private bank, and income tax wasn't but 1% until the 1950s. Not one red cent of the money paid to the IRS goes to run the country. That's all the other taxes. This is all taxes on the debt to the private banks that issue it through their holding company, the Federal Reserve. And the news just kind of moves on, knowing the public that's too complex for them. But the issue is, even if the Federal Reserve is good, which it's obviously not, it's not above the law. Congress isn't above the law. The courts aren't above the law. The president is above the law. The Congress is supposed to have oversight over the courts, over the president, and over the coining and issuance of money and finance. Now, Congress has given up its authority over trade to the World Trade Organization. It's giving up its authority to the Federal Reserve right now. It did that first part of that with the October banker bailout that gave them secrecy and unlimited funds, and they've stolen $14.8 trillion, according to Bloomberg. Now they want to set up a new Bank of the World, the Federal Reserve, the local governorship, same legislation, word for word, being passed in Europe right now. And so we're trying to audit the Fed. They're trying to fully take over anything connected to finance or that affects the economy. And they say in their own words, from a restaurant to a car dealership, from a factory to a private school. Total martial law, total control, just as the executive orders state, where the federal government can reorganize people into youth brigades or work brigades, take over land, take over transportation, take over manufacturing. All those illegitimate executive powers concentrated illegitimately in the presidency since the National Security Act of 47, expanded by each subsequent president. The forced inoculation laws, all of it. That's coming up next hour. Big news there. That has all been taken from the Congress and the courts, transferred illegitimately into the presidency, and now through the National Security Council and banking committees, transferred to the private Fed. And now they just want to make it official. Now, Bernanke got up yesterday before the House Banking Committee and was being questioned, and he said, look, you can't audit us, you can't look at us, or there will be a depression. So that's financial terrorism, just like in October. Pass my banker takeover bill, or there'll be a depression. And then they went into behind closed committee, Senator Inhofe has said, and also other members of the House have come out and said, Brad Sherman on this show, not just on the House floor, and said that Paulson came in with a threat, taking orders directly from Ben Bernanke, but he had Ben Bernanke with him, but it's come out in the memos that the threats are made by Paulson on behalf of Bernanke and former New York Fed Chairman Geithner, now Treasury Secretary, that there will be physical martial law if you don't do this. And that's why you're now seeing antagonism by the House towards him. Even though they're a bunch of crooks and thugs on average, they didn't like him coming in and saying, look, we'll just throw your butts out or arrest you. Just like the New York governor just said he'll arrest members of the legislature if they don't go vote the way he wants. That was in ABC News. Just, oh, he'll arrest them. See, everything is becoming crime world. You know, the velvet gloves tearing off the iron fist, and we're really seeing what it is now. Right out in the open for everybody. So, to continue here to the key, we're saying, hey, the Congress has the right to coin, print the money, control the currency, the issuance of currency and credit, control the banks. That's its job, to regulate that. And the Fed says no, that would be Congress seizing power dictatorially, when it's the private Federal Reserve that seized power. It was Congress that got bought off in 1913 with 11 senators voting on Christmas Eve at midnight, right before midnight when nobody's there. They come in and criminally pass the Federal Reserve Act. They're criminals. This was a coup. And that coup stayed in place, but kind of sat back so people would notice the takeover, and then crept out and took over. And they've done that now, and now they're mopping up. So when we come back after this quick break, I am going to play Bernanke saying Congress has no authority over the bank and saying nobody can audit them. You know, Greenspan's on record saying the Fed's above the law, nobody can audit it. And then I'm going to read to you from the Constitution. The Congress shall have the power to coin money, regulate the value thereof, foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures. And then it goes on over the banks and everything else. So this little con artist, this little flim-flam man, this sleight of hand carnival magician sits up there like he's fooling 5-year-old school kids with his shoddy magic trick, saying, "Oh, you're not allowed to look at me. You're not allowed to audit me. You're not allowed to investigate me. You're not allowed to look into what I'm doing. It'll destroy America." Financial terrorism. It's going to destroy the economy if you don't give us NAFTA and GATT. Destroys the economy. It's going to destroy the economy if you don't give us all these tax increases. Then they get the tax increases, destroys it further. It's going to destroy the economy if you don't give us unlimited power. We're going to be nuked by Iraq. They have WMDs if we don't invade. Always conning, always lying, always scamming, always terrorizing the public. We're going to play this amazing video, the audio for radio listeners, the video for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers right now when we get back. And if you're not a PrisonPlanet.tv member, it's 15 cents a day, folks. And you get all my films super high quality, the live TV show every day, the Sunday show we're about to be doing out of this studio, and a lot more. By the way, Jason's going to be doing a Sunday show soon after me, so that should be interesting. It is all coming up. I'll break down the chutzpah, the bravado, the arrogance, the hubris, the corruption, the in-your-face arrogance of this creature when we get back, telling you he's God over Congress.